while Tyrannosaurus rex thundered across the land, while Triceratops locked horns in ancient forests, while pterosaurs ruled the skies, a second world thrived in silence. A world without sunlight, without trees, without sound, just cold, crushing darkness. But the darkness was alive, with monsters. Down there, thousands of feet below the surface, were creatures stranger than anything that ever walked the earth. Creatures with glowing eyes, transparent flesh, hinged jaws that unhinged, and stomachs that stretched like nightmares. This isn't fiction. This isn't the future. This was Earth during the Age of Dinosaurs. Chapter 1, The Eternal Night Below. Let's set the stage. During the Mesozoic Era, roughly 252 to 66 million years ago, Earth was ruled by dinosaurs, but beneath the oceans, a separate kingdom evolved. Far below the sunlit waters where marine reptiles like mosasaurs and plesiosaurs hunted, there was a zone where sunlight could not reach. Today we call it the Midnight Zone. Back then it was just as dark, just as cold, just as unforgiving. But somehow life adapted. It became alien, because in the deep sea, survival didn't favor strength or speed. It favored deception, silence, and light. Chapter 2, the first bioluminescent arms race. Bioluminescence isn't new, it's ancient. And during the time of dinosaurs, it was already a weapon. Some of the earliest glowing life forms likely included ostracods, tiny crustaceans that could flash light to startle predators or attract mates. But they weren't alone. Soft-bodied squid-like cephalopods with light organs evolved too, some related to today's vampire squid. Their ink was replaced with glowing mucus, expelled in clouds to confuse predators in the pitch dark. And then came the hunters. Creatures like early dragonfish, armed with photophores, small chemical lanterns that could flash or dim on command. Some had glowing lures to mimic prey and reel in victims. Others used red light, a wavelength most deep-sea prey couldn't see, to hunt invisibly. In a world without sunlight, these were the equivalents of heat-seeking missiles. So while dinosaurs had claws and teeth, the deep had something even more terrifying. Predators you couldn't see until they lit up. Chapter 3, Cephalopod Intelligence in the Dark. Squid and their relatives are some of the smartest invertebrates alive today. But their roots go way back. During the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods, deep-sea squids evolved to be more than just swimmers. They became strategists. Some grew transparent bodies, invisible in the water. Others had mirror-like skin that reflected any hint of light, effectively disappearing. One bizarre group, now extinct, called belemnites, had internal skeletons and jet propulsion, allowing for agile movement. We don't know how deep they ventured, but some fossil sites suggest they lived in low-light waters. And in the absence of sunlight, intelligence became a survival trait. Because the deep sea wasn't just full of glowing prey, it was full of glowing traps. Chapter 4, Predators You've Never Heard Of. Imagine a fish with a mouth so large it could swallow prey its own size. Now imagine that fish has no bones in its body, just gelatinous flesh, fangs like needles, and a light bulb hanging from its head. Enter the ancestors of the anglerfish. While we don't have direct fossils of soft-bodied deep-sea fish from the dinosaur age, evolutionary evidence and modern survivors suggest their lineage was already well developed. Some scientists believe early anglerfish relatives evolved their iconic lure tens of millions of years ago, possibly during the Cretaceous. They were never fossilized, too soft, too deep, too alien. But they lived, and they hunted in a way no dinosaur ever did. Chapter 5, Were There Deep-Sea Giants? We know the surface ocean had giants. Ichthyosaurs, mosasaurs, and pliosaurs ruled the shallows. But what about the deep? The answer lies in deep-sea gigantism, a phenomenon that happens even today. Creatures like giant isopods and colossal squid thrive in the darkness, sometimes growing bigger than their shallow water cousins. Back in the Mesozoic, this process likely occurred as well. Deep-sea ammonites, some as large as car tires, drifted in silence, using buoyancy chambers to hover like ghosts. Massive crustaceans may have crawled the abyssal plains, feeding on rainstorms of dead matter from above. And perhaps there were monsters we never found. Creatures that lived and died so deep, no fossil record remains. What else could have evolved unseen in those black oceans? Chapter 6: The Mass Extinction That Revealed the Deep. 66 million years ago, an asteroid ended the reign of the dinosaurs. On land, in the sky, in the ocean's chaos, the surface marine reptiles died, coral reefs collapsed, entire ecosystems were wiped out. But in the deep sea, something else happened. Because deep-sea ecosystems don't rely on sunlight. They feed on detritus, a slow rain of organic particles from the upper ocean. Some even feed on chemicals from hydrothermal vents. When the asteroid blocked the sun, the deep sea barely flinched. It became a refuge, a safe house for strange, glowing life that had already mastered the art of existing in nothingness. Which raises the biggest question of all. When everything else died, did the monsters of the deep take over for a time? A darkness that never ends. When we think of the Age of Dinosaurs, we picture jungles, deserts, and giant beasts. But beneath all of that was a world untouched by sunlight. A world of cold pressure, silent water, and glowing nightmares. They weren't dinosaurs. They weren't dragons. But they were every bit as real and just as deadly. And they never truly went extinct. Because even today, in the midnight zone, creatures blink and pulse in the dark. Living fossils from the world beneath the dinosaurs. So next time you imagine T-Rex roaring on land, remember, something was hunting in the abyss too. Call to action, outer engagement. If this video made you look at the ocean differently, hit that like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into Earth's forgotten worlds. And comment, which deep-sea creature do you think was the scariest or the smartest? Because while we chase aliens in the stars, they may have been swimming beneath us all along.